We have the latest details on a powerful earthquake that rocked Hokkaido early this morning. 2 people have died and the number of injured has risen to at least 140. About 40 others are missing. The quake triggered landslides, caused widespread damage, and left the whole of Japan's northern island prefecture without power. Evacuation orders have been issued in some areas. The quake hit shortly after 3 a.m. on the western part of the island, leaving everyone in the dark. The meteorological agency estimates the magnitude was 6.7, and there have been dozens of aftershocks since then.
In areas where shaking was strong, the danger of houses collapsing and landslides could be very high. Pay attention to upcoming seismic activity and rainfall. Don't come into dangerous areas unless it's necessary, and be careful to look out for your own safety.
Near the epicenter, landslides wiped out homes in Atsuma. All of the missing are from this town. Helicopter crews are carrying out rescue operations, but rescue workers are frantically searching for 5 people buried in the rubble. A resident told NHK the tremors were at a scale he had never experienced before. Some residents have been lifted to safety from their homes.
My parents are still buried on.
I've watched helicopter rescues and earthquakes on television and hope it would never happen to me. But it did.
The extent of the damage is still being assessed, but throughout the prefecture, buildings are tilted and roads are cracked and buckled.
I think it's the first time such a big earthquake hit this town. My house and shop are a mess.
The tremors were really intense. Everything is broken in my house.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe says his government has set up an emergency task force that is putting a priority on search and rescue. He says 25,000 self-defense troops will be sent. Evacuation shelters are being set up in many towns and cities.
I was sleeping and the tremors came suddenly. I immediately got up. When I tried to open the door, it started shaking violently. So I clung onto the door and went outside.
Things are scattered everywhere in my house. I came here because I thought I needed to escape to somewhere with more space and food.
Well, public transit has also been paralyzed across the island prefecture. Aviation authorities canceled all flights at New Chitose Airport on Thursday. The country's transport ministry says a partial ceiling collapse and burst water pipes have shut down the airport's terminal. Workers are also checking runways for damage. Shinkansen bullet train service is suspended. Most local trains have also stopped. Many roadways have large craters and gaps that have made it impossible for vehicles to operate. Public bus services have shut down and many highways have closed. Schools are also closed for the day. People are trying to stock up on emergency supplies. In the town of Hiraka, this long line of vehicles is waiting at a service station. The water supply has also been affected by the earthquake. It's been cut off to swaths of the island. Hospitals are on emergency backup power. Officials say some of the key hospitals are partially or completely unable to deal with emergency treatment. Meanwhile, crews are working to restore electricity to nearly 3 million buildings on the island, but that will take days.
It will take more than a week to fully restore the power supply in Hokkaido.
Hokkaido Electric Power Company says after the quake, it shut down all of its thermal power plants. It says they couldn't continue to safely supply electricity. At one plant, the operator says they found cracks in pipes leading to a turbine. The Tomari nuclear power plant resumed partial operations and no safety issues have been observed. Well, earlier we spoke to the Hokkaido government's coordinator of international relations. Terence Wisick Jr. is an American who is based in Sapporo.
I spent a small amount of time studying abroad in Tokyo a few years back, and now I work in Hokkaido. So in my time in Tokyo, I experienced, all number of earthquakes in the morning and the night, and you're like, oh, the first time it happens, it's an experience, but you get used to it very quickly. And this was, frankly, on a new level for me personally. At 3 a.m, most people are asleep, so I think the first thing people felt was confusion. And in the moment that I woke up, my phone also shouted a message saying, there's an earthquake, and I was like, I know, like I can feel it. And so it was, I think there was a lot of confusion and a lot of panic. And there was about 20 minutes after the earthquake where it was just dead silent, which I thought was very interesting. And then there were ambulances and police cars and emergency services started to kick in. In general, it is safe to go out. A number of people are still going to work today, and I've seen people out on their bikes riding around as if nothing's really wrong. There are certainly areas that have been more strongly affected by the earthquake, and those can be researched online. The part now that's important is to acquire resources. So there are lines at the vast majority of grocery stores and konbinis, 7-Eleven, Seiko Marts, Family Mart, Lawson's, and all those. So the most important thing that I can recommend is to get food, get some sustainable things like water, and also some emergency rations. We advise all of the people working under us to prepare a disaster preparedness kit. And as a matter of fact, with the typhoon yesterday, I sent out an email to a number of people in the prefecture saying, make sure you have your disaster preparedness kit ready. So hopefully within those 24 hours, some people got around to doing it. So yeah, just to reiterate, I'd say the most important thing is to have food and water and to confirm that you are safe with your loved ones.
Right, we appreciate Terrence speaking to us. Well, Japan's meteorological agency is warning that a quake of about the same intensity could hit the area in the next week or so. If you are in the earthquake-hit area, do not go out sightseeing and be aware for broken glass. Power lines may be down on the streets. People are being advised to not step over them because the electric current could still be running. For our viewers in Hokkaido, we advise you check for updates and for advisories with your local municipality. If you are in Hokkaido and need information in English, Mandarin, or in Korean, you can call either number on your screen. You can also go online to Hokkaido's disaster prevention website. The URL is also on the screen, or simply search Hokkaido Disaster Prevention Information and click on the link. We will leave this information up for a bit longer. Again, if you are in an area hit by the earthquake, do not go out sightseeing. Beware of broken glass and do not step over power lines. Now here's a closer look at damage throughout the prefecture from our domestic service.
I am flying over Atsuma town of Hokkaido. Multiple landslides have occurred here. Look at the brown patches. They are where parts of the mountains slid down when the earthquake took place. When we look at the left side of the screen, we can see the area where the land slid over a residential area at the foot of the mountain. The soil and trees destroyed a lot of houses there. And the road is completely covered there, making it very difficult for people to reach the affected homes. Mass of soil went over the residential area into the rice field. This is another angle of the aerial view of Atsuma town. We can see many trees that came down from the mountain over the road. The mass of soil reached to the rice paddy. We see a house that's destroyed. We see the damaged roof of the second floor of the house. The ground floor seems to be completely buried by the soil. Around the building, we see a few shovel cars digging the soil, and rescue team members are trying to look for anyone trapped inside the building. We see the heavy machines help the members gain access to the building. This is the Atsuma town in Hokkaido that's heavily affected by the landslides. Earlier, we saw the slides took place in multiple areas of the mountain area. There were countless marks of the slides in the mountain. The rescue operation is underway. This is the aerial view of Kyoto ward of Sapporo City. We are looking at a road that goes through a residential area. The road looks brownish. Apparently, some flooding might have occurred around this area. I see dirt all over the street. I see dirt and also water covering the road. And here I see some containers stuck in the mud. I see two vehicles also buried there. And at the moment you can't see, but a wheel loader has been trying to salvage those vehicles. I am flying over Kyoto ward of Sapporo City in the aftermath of the quake. This is the ground view of Kyoto ward. What used to be a flat road is in tatters. Apparently, the water pipes were ruptured in various places, and that's why the road is covered with mud. The car is submerged in the mud, and the owner cannot move it. Many houses in this area are tilted like this one. Reporting from Kyoto ward. I am at the arrival lobby of new Chitose Airport. This morning, the terminal building was closed for a while, but airport officials determined that this part is safe, so the area around the restrooms was open to the public. Many people came inside. The terminal building took a toll. The ceiling was damaged, for example. Workers are repairing it to make sure it's safe for people who are here. There are many other parts of the building that are damaged like this. Officials are currently surveying the facility. Reporting from the new Chitose Airport.
Now on to the impact the earthquake has had on business. The tremor and subsequent power outages have disrupted a wide range of economic activities across Hokkaido. Toyota Motors says its subsidiary in the prefecture has suspended daytime operations at its transmission factory in Tomakomai City because of the power outage. The automaker says the factory has an in-house power generation system, but it's not capable of supplying electricity over a long period. Nippon Steel and Sumitomo Metal has closed down operations at its steel works in Muroran City, while staff conduct safety checks. A plant of Mitsubishi Steel Manufacturing's group unit, also in Muroran, has been shut after a fire broke out shortly after the quake hit. The blaze has since been put out. Hokkaido is famous for its cattle farms and forestry industry. Major dairy company Meiji has suspended operations at all 7 of its factories in the prefecture. Paper producers, including Nippon Paper Industries and Oji Holdings, have also shut down their plants. The Sapporo Stock Exchange has decided to stop trading for the day because of the power outage. Operations at commercial banks have been heavily affected. Major banks, including Japan Post Bank, say some of their branches are closed and that many of their automatic teller machines are not working. Meanwhile, the Bank of Japan says its Hokkaido branch is operating as usual and that the computer system for interbank settlements is working normally. Mobile phone services have been disrupted in some areas. After that, NTT East made use of all of its 5,800 public phones in Hokkaido free of charge. The tremor affected convenience store operators around the island. Most of the 7-Eleven Japan's nearly 1,000 outlets have been hit by power outages, but remain on limited operation. Lawson has closed its 300 stores. Many department stores are also shut. Japan Post has temporarily suspended the collection and delivery of packages to Hokkaido. Other parcel delivery services, including Yamato Transport and Sagawa Express, have also stopped deliveries across the prefecture. And that's a look at business news.
Right, thank you there, Carly. And we go back to details on the powerful earthquake that rocked Hokkaido early this morning. 2 people have died and the number of injured has risen to at least 140. About 40 others are missing. The quake triggered landslides, caused widespread damage, and left the whole of Japan's northern island prefecture without power. Evacuation orders have been issued in some areas. The quake hit shortly after 3 a.m. on the western part of the island, leaving everyone in the dark. The meteorological agency estimates the magnitude was 6.7, and there have been dozens of aftershocks since then.
In areas where shaking was strong, the danger of houses collapsing and landslides could be very high. Pay attention to upcoming seismic activity and rainfall. Don't come into dangerous areas unless it's necessary. And be careful to look out for your own safety.
Near the epicenter, landslides wiped out homes in Atsuma. All of the missing are from this town. Helicopter crews are carrying out rescue operations, but rescue workers are frantically searching for 5 people buried in the rubble. A resident told NHK the tremors were at a scale he had never experienced before. Some residents have been lifted to safety from their homes.
My parents are still buried on.
I've watched helicopter rescues and earthquakes on television and hope it would never happen to me. But it did.
The extent of the damage is still being assessed, but throughout the prefecture, buildings are tilted and roads are cracked and buckled.
I think it's the first time such a big earthquake hit this town. My house and shop are a mess.
The tremors were really intense. Everything is broken in my house.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe says his government has set up an emergency task force that is putting a priority on search and rescue. He says 25,000 self-defense troops will be sent. Evacuation shelters are being set up in many towns and cities.
I was sleeping and the tremors came suddenly. I immediately got up. When I tried to open the door, it started shaking violently, so I clung onto the door and went outside.
Things are scattered everywhere in my house. I came here because I thought I needed to escape to somewhere with more space and food.
And here's more information from our domestic service with simultaneous translation.
NHK has learned from the municipalities in Hokkaido as well as police that 2 people have been confirmed dead in Mukawa and Shinhidaka, and also there is 1 person who is not showing signs of vital signs. 38 people in Atsuma town are missing. As we've been reporting, an intensity of 6+ earthquake was recorded in Hokkaido on the scale of 0 to 7, and 2 people have been confirmed dead. And in Atsuma town, 1 person is showing no vital signs. And also in Atsuma, 38 people are unaccounted for. In all of Hokkaido, 2.95 million households are without power. The Minister of Economy and Trade has said that it will take at least 1 week or more for electricity to be fully restored. Due to the power outage, it is difficult for people in Hokkaido to obtain information through television and radio, causing anxiety. If you have families, friends in the affected areas, please try to use SNS and other means to provide vital information to the people there. Please try to communicate NHK's information to the people in Hokkaido. And also ask them to inform people who are older and injured, because they might not be able to use these means. If wrong information is disseminated through SNS and other means, this will cause major chaos. So please be sure that the information is accurate. There is risk of aftershocks. Please do not approach vulnerable buildings or structures. Please be vigilant. And next, we go live to our Sapporo station. We would like to provide you the update on the damages caused by the earthquake. The Hokkaido government has said that they have confirmed the death of 2 persons. According to the government, 1 person in Mukawa town and 1 person in Shinhidaka town have been confirmed dead. In Atsuma town in Yoshino district, a major mudslide has occurred, crushing number of houses. According to the town and police at Atsuma town, a 83-year-old woman is showing no vital signs, and altogether 38 people are missing.
Police and the fire department are engaged in search and rescue activities. According to the Crisis Management Unit of Hokkaido Prefectural Government, in Shidaka town, where the earthquake was 5+, 1 person has died. And in Mukawa town, a man died as a result of being trapped underneath a large piece of furniture.